Har, loot.
Thank you all very much for coming, and thank you to Amanda Earle for all of her efforts with Bywords, and to all of you who have sort of ill-advisedly encouraged me to keep writing over the years. I appreciate it very much. It's a special pleasure for me to win the Newlove. John Newlove is a poet I just read for the first time about a year ago. He was introduced to me by my friend Ryan Maiden. On my way down to a conference in the States last year, I stopped off at New York and spent a great deal of time on the bus en route, and he lent me a copy of Apology for Absence, which I brought with me and read voraciously on the way down, and was just completely sort of struck and impaled by a lot of the poems I discovered there, and to find this voice, you know, in Canadian poetry, and one who had lived in Ottawa was quite an eye-opening experience, and serendipitously enough, the winning poem was one that I wrote when I was in the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York City on that trip. So I think the enjambment probably speaks a little bit of the influence of John Newlove. So, but, you know, yeah, great. So I'm going to read one from his collection Lies, a poem called My Dreams. I read it for the first time in Apology for Absence, but it was originally published in Lies in 1972. There's a strange dog puking in my sink where I wash the dishes. I wish I were blind. My dreams speak to me in faint, phony English accents. The zippers of my dreams are frozen, solid. I only looked outside and my ears went ping. My dreams walked 1,000 miles in search of mountains. What they found was Calgary. They tried to climb a hotel with old-fashioned equipment. Now there are needles in the ears of my dreams. There is frost on their eyes. They try to be brave about shovels. My dreams fell off everything they tried. They lie flat on their backs, pointing newcomers in the wrong direction. And I'm going to read two of my poems. I guess I'll read a companion piece to Pygmalion and Galatea, and it was originally written in the same visit to the Met. I was sort of wandering around with a notebook like an idiot, standing in corridors, staring at things and scribbling things down. So the first poem I'm going to read is called Van Gogh's Starry Night over the Rhone, and it's dedicated to my brother on the occasion of his broken foot. He's actually here in the audience here, so... Yeah, sorry about that. This by way of apology. A blue satori of brush savage glory, it kicks you with its own swatched, flecked fact. No night sky anywhere ever looked quite like this. You can't imagine the roughly magnificent thickness of this aqua brew cerulean in every blue between geology until you draw closer. Then the canvas hacks up a surge of darkly color. Thunder on a clear evening of the eye, it tries to knock you over. Starry Night Smackdown, an art museum bar fight. Edge up a little more. Careful, think of old Steve Irwin on some coiled cyanotic cobra. Enough to touch it, even guards on both sides to be sure you don't. And if you did, it'd easy rough off your fingerprints, inspire a life of high relief criminality. The riverbank is risen, strewn in violent invitation to the eye, reflective glaze along its brushy ridges like the tracers of traffic passing fast on a midnight strip of the 87. It is its own outrageous place, spun out in a naked blaze of massive vortical strokes where stars don't shine, but bust up in yellow bright phosphor light of grenades or angry flowers outstruck like sudden knives driving at the eye, stellar whiteheads on the face of time. The same stars are thinner, traced with flaming tails in the water, crest and crash above, echoed in a garbled bloom below, beside. The small, slightly blurred couple tucked in the lower right corner, who look back at you, asking how long you too have been a prisoner here in this vibrant cage of livid ooze of oil and uneasy caveat fixed in mid-stroll. They warn, stare too long at these wild whorls and you might begin to shiver, sicken and crash, bruised from a blue flu caught walking by the cold Rhone. Way to go in a rush of cobalt and an indigo vertigo over, shattering your bones when you break against the frame. Brother, you've been warned not to walk in this blue land by Van Gogh alone. So I'll now read Pygmalion and Gogh.